to be respected. People took me at my word. Then I became a lawyer representing Amber Heard. Objection, hearsay. Oh my God, I don't have a case. Objection, hearsay. Now I'm ashamed to show my face.
Well, I'm a famous movie star, yeah, life is always fine. I sit down at my penthouse drinking mega pints of wine.
Objection, hearsay.
I don't know why we ever wed.
Objection, hearsay.
Who the hell poops in someone's bed?
I object to everything. I may have an infection. Cause I say I object, the judge says
That was your own question.
objection, hearsay. Court isn't supposed to be this hard. Objection, hearsay. How did I ever pass the bar? Well, just one final question, sir, and this one has been prepped. What is your name?
My name is Johnny Depp.
Objection, hearsay. How can you prove that that's your name? Objection, hearsay. Looks like we win and you are lame. Objection, hearsay. Objection, hearsay.
Captain Jack Sparrow to the stand.
There once was a girl who made a turd on the bed.
Objection, hearsay.
Objection overruled. Mr. Sparrow, please continue.
There once was a girl who made a turd on the bed, and her name was Amber Heard. She made stuff up to bring Johnny down, so off to court they go. Soon may the verdict come that Amber's lying out her bum. We'll drink a mega pints of rum when Johnny's free to go. If it wasn't enough to soil the bed, she cut off his finger and bashed his head on the door, and yet she still said she couldn't hurt him so. Soon may the verdict come that Amber's lying out her bum. We'll drink a mega pints of rum when Johnny's free to go. Objection, hearsay all day long. Amber's lawyers can find no wrong. Johnny hits the drink and a massive bong, but did he hit her though? No. Soon may the verdict come that Amber's lying out her bum. We'll drink a mega pint of rum when Johnny's free to go. Amber, in a desperate plea, told a very sad story of how her dog stepped on a bee.
My dog stepped on a bee.
Objection, hearsay.
Soon may the verdict come that Amber's lying out her bum. We'll drink a mega pint of rum when Johnny's free to go. Lie, lie, la 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 lie, 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 la 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 lie. The moral of this weird story is don't marry a celebrity. I think that we can all agree it's a literal shit show. I know that it might not make sense, but it shows domestic violence is not an exclusive offense committed just by blokes. So soon may the verdict come that Amber's lying out her bum. We'll drink a mega pint of rum when Johnny's free to go. So who did lose and who did win? The jury's verdict has come in. To no surprise, it has always been the lawyers making dough. So now that the verdict's come, I think we all knew from day one that Amber lied straight out her bum, but Johnny's free to go. And the lawyers made their dough, and Amber put on quite the show.
Excuse me.
Oh, all right.
No questions,
Okay.
Your Honor.
Perfect. Sorry about that. That same fucking shit happened with my mic. I tried to talk and the mic had been disconnected from OBS. I have no clue what's up with that, but luckily I had a couple songs prepared for us. This one was great though. Like I found it randomly. I was just looking up for parody songs because I was like, there have to be some. Like, okay, we're talking about the trial tonight. Let's see here. This was the main thing I wanted to talk about. This was from Monday. This witness for Amber Heard. Like, I think the cross on this witness was like more of a shit show than the cross on Amber Heard, because this guy is just an outright fucking clown. But it's about an hour. I think that this is the questions where they first decide whether or not he can be used as a witness, and then they go over his actual testimony. We'll probably skip over the part where Heard's lawyers question him. I mean, he basically says that he thinks Depp is an abuser based on the evidence that's on the record. Yada, yada, yada. I mean, it's pretty much what people expect this guy to say. The cross on this guy is just fucking brutal, though. And what else do I have? Oh, okay. A witness was asked about communicating with the Umbrella Man, and his response to the attorney was fucking hilarious. And like 5 minutes long. I've got that one pulled up.
What he is suing.
This one's kind of funny. This is from the trial today. Let me just play it really quick.
About here are the three statements that were.
And yeah, a lot of these clips I pulled from other people's channels, so just so you're all aware of everybody. Asmongold clips, like I've been watching a few of these because it's just like really brief highlights. Obviously, Rekieta Law. I don't think I have anything pulled up by Tug today, though. From other people's channel. Didn't mean to pull that up. Oh, man. And just so you know what I was watching before we got started. But, real quick, before we jump into the trial. This is something I want to talk about. Because I did want people's opinion on it. Do you feel like someone is using the wrong bathroom? Please don't stare at them, challenge them, insult them. Do not purposely make them uncomfortable. Respect their privacy, yada yada. Here's my problem with this, right? This is insanely stupid. Look, I'm not going to be the person that goes, people want to be trans so men can assault girls in bathrooms or some stupid shit like that. But the problem is that's actually already happened. It's like, the thing is, like, bad people exist and bad people take advantage of anything. And when you basically tell girls, you shouldn't question why a man is in the bathroom. And I'm not saying like a transgender male to female. I'm saying like an actual man being in their bathroom. Because if you read this here, it does not distinguish at all. It literally tells them it doesn't matter who's in there, don't question it. Be respectful. That's insanely fucking stupid to tell to fucking girls. Like it's outright fucking. I was about to say the bad word, but I don't want to get in more trouble with YouTube. But this is just like I actually, because I play the Libs of TikTok stuff, and I like Libs of TikTok. I like the account. I like the stuff that they pull up, but like usually it's like in a joking manner. It's like, oh, look at this shit. It's kind of funny, right? Like these people are being fucking batshit crazy. Like, what is this? Other times it's been more serious, and this is like one of those times because I'm like, dude, whoever came up with this is either actually fucking brain damaged or just like a straight up fucking predator, because this is a predator's wet dream, right? Like a school where the children won't question why they're in the bathroom staring at them. Like, holy shit. I mean, this is just fucking nuts. I mean, this has nothing to do with trans people. Like, this is just like dumb. Like under this under this like tolerance rule, it does not distinguish between a male to female trans individual and just a straight up fucking dude being in the woman's restroom. This is so fucked up. This is like really fucked up. I don't know, man. I don't know. You guys let me know what you think. Maybe I'm overreacting to it, but I really don't think I am. I think this is like, oh, we have to be tolerant, and the way they're going about it is they're being like just outright stupid. Like insanely dumb. Oh man. Let's talk about the trial stuff. I wanted to bring that up. I did because this just feels like really dangerous to me. I don't want to be boomerish. But like I don't see this as anything other than idiots who would allow for trauma to occur in the sake of being open-minded or some stupid shit like that. Are we talking about future old man Sen tonight? What did Sen do? I have no clue. You gotta tell me what Sen actually did. All right, let's let me close these windows. Okay. So I think yeah, this was a motion to dismiss Amber Heard's counterclaim, and it seems pretty obvious that the people I was watching were saying it's likely going to get denied, but that the attorneys are doing it to kind of like show off to the cameras, right? Basically get their message out to the press, because there are two trials happening here. There's the trial of public opinion, and there's the actual legal defamation case. Regardless of what happens with the defamation case, Johnny Depp, being a public figure and being an actor who, likely wants to continue acting, he relies on his reputation. The public opinion matters so much. I mean, look at everything that's happened since this trial. Amber Heard's been dropped by Warner Brothers. Johnny Depp has had several very, very, very big name celebrities come out in full-throated endorsements of the guy, outright declaring him innocent. Robert Downey Jr. being one of them. And like again, regardless of what you personally feel about Marvel and MCU and all that shit, Robert Downey Jr. is a massive fucking name, and he's coming out on Johnny Depp's side. Meanwhile, Amber Heard, her best friends, all wind up abandoning her. Like it's just you have to understand. Even if Johnny Depp loses outright and loses his counterclaim, which would be devastating for him, right? The lawsuit still was the right thing to do, because his reputation has been completely saved. People understand that the courts don't always rule in their favor, and it isn't always decided fairly, right? And there are technicalities for reasons why lawsuits get thrown out, right? It doesn't change the fact that to the public, Amber Heard is a fucking demon. But anyways, I want to play this because it was actually really funny.
He is suing about here are the three statements that were directed at him.
Yeah.
He has no issue with women's rights. He supports women's rights. In fact, he was the one, Your Honor, as Your Honor knows, who made that first $100,000 contribution to the ACLU.
I like how she actually smirks there, and you can see it.
Amber's name.
To the CHLA.
Your Honor, at this point, I'm going to object. Mr. Chu has largely just read his brief and confined his arguments to those directed in the motion. But like we saw with the last motion to strike, he's now directing his arguments to something other than what's at issue here. And I would object, because I think making an argument not to you but to the cameras, it's disrespectful to the court and everyone's time, and it also threatens to undermine the integrity of this process and risk the jury being influenced by outside factors.
Well, it's his argument. I'll allow him to do his
Thank you.
Thank you.
I just thought that was great. Her team got just fucking destroyed today, and it was great. Like there's like when we get to the Umbrella Man shit, it gets fucking wild. But this part here is really good.
Listen, we haven't met. But
I apologize for what I'm about to do to you.
I like to tell you my name before I fuck you.
Let's start with what you finished with. You understand that the court
I'd buy you dinner first.
asked by Miss Heard's counsel to order a medical exam of Mr. Depp, and those motions were denied.
I think
Actually, I want to give some context here. Prior to this, hey mom, how you doing? You should watch Swoop's deep dive into this trial, Crow. If you link it to me, Devend, I'm happy to pull it up. I should pull up that Umbrella Guy stream because it's not that I don't like Rekida's channel or anything. It's just he has his own commentary going on in the background, and I think. Oh yeah, Tug actually got taken offline. That was nuts. Alright, so let's see. Go here. And I believe it's right around here. Okay, there we go.
That rule.
the American Psychiatric Association.
An association you're a member of. And who has that rule?
Okay, so yeah, I actually Tug stream's probably better for this because Tug will only do commentary when they go up to like talk to the judge and shit. And this part here is really nuts. Now this is, I think, when they actually do the cross-examination. I wanted to show you guys when they were qualifying him as a witness, which I think, okay, so this is 3:28. I'll remember that timestamp. Let's go about here. I think this is where they argue that they don't want him.
Someone like, how could you let a woman do that to you?
Counseling. Victims go into counseling. Victims are seeking actually couples counseling. Victims are seeking couples advice to
Men
try
don't
to
seek
repair
counseling.
what's happening. Okay, but in terms of actual perpetrators,
No.
they don't. Do
Men also don't seek.
In your
But hey,
review of this
men
case, is there
victims.
record evidence of physical violence by Mr. Depp?
So,
Objection, Your Honor. No
No
foundation.
Do you want to approach him?
See, that's the thing that he conveniently wants to leave out of his lecture that he's giving up here. He says that perpetrators don't seek. They don't seek Captain Jack Sparrow and going to children's hospitals without cameras or anything else on you.
I apologize. I really should have pulled it up for Tug stream first. Maybe I'm wrong on
Is
the
that
timestamp though. Let's see.
The thing about narcissism, lack of think about
Are attitudes, do some
during, especially during the.
You know, I think maybe I was at the right part earlier.
There is something known as
The last thing you talked about
Oh man, I don't know where
was
they were
the
going with that, but-
Goldwater rule.
Okay. You know, I think this is the cross-examination. I'm not sure. Oh gosh, is it all the way here? Ugh, fuck. That would suck. I'm trying to think. The end of this is the best part, like when he's actually being crossed. But the part that was up earlier, I think was probably the best part where they were trying to qualify him as a witness. They asked him some specific questions, but when they bring up Johnny Depp, like denying the request to be interviewed by by this guy, that is. Look at the chat, Crow. I saw part of this guy. Just shuffled it to your Twitter DM. Oh, okay. I'll take a look. You. It was corners. Me too. Oh, Ty. Okay, hold on, guys. Hold on. You said it. Okay, I see here. Prove Amber Heard and sister lied about staircase story. Oh, okay, yeah. We can pull this up afterwards. Because keep in mind there are two parts for this, but she breaks things down. The staircase story is interesting, and I think that they've already kind of caught her in a lie because of something that she said during her testimony, that contradicts her testimony, I think, but we can go through that video. I think that'd be way better. The qualification was the best part. Okay, all right. Okay, I think it's about here.
Referred to as a broken vodka bottle. Michelle, please. Dr. Moore, what basically?
Oh gosh, the Dr. Moore testimony was great too. Like Camille and Roddenborn get into it, and it's fucking great. But I gotta move on to this guy.
Patient is generally about 5 to work.
If any differences are there on how many patients you see on weekend?
Probably psychiatric
Drugs?
Yes. Put them both together, probably 7. So as a subset of my overall practice, 50% have suffered from trauma, about half of that number of.
All right, over objection, he's entered as an expert as test.
There's more to it than just the actual abuse act. Abuse act's important, but it's not the sole thing.
You think she smells like loneliness and broken dreams?
Thank you.
Hatred, desperation?
Okay, all right.
Elaine doesn't look.
Your Honor.
825 psychiatrist.
And where do you work? Do you work at?
Believe that they are accountable to their fiscal productivity. So, and a heck of a lot of other administrative meetings that I go to.
Here we go. This should be good.
Have you published in your field?
Chapter I've served as a reviewer at neuropharmacology.
Human brain.
Fully aware.
And effects.
And the type of abuse, it's imperative. There's multiple articles on the effects of trauma, and in that trauma was intimate partner violence.
Are you familiar with the hallmarks of intimate partner violence?
He's scary looking.
Yes.
He actually looks like he's alcoholic. The finger injuries, they mass flagged them to get my count locked. So I had to take the finger injuries down. That's hilarious. More than one too. Him at rehab dead. There's another one after my even the.
Okay, I think I found the right part. I'm. Oh. Like this is probably the fastest way for me to actually locate it. I'm not kidding.
On the island, he was. So, yes, he did engage in that.
Did Mr. Depp's?
I'll tell you about. Man, that sounded awful. Yeah, they just had to rake the microphone while they were doing it. But somebody contacted me with a crazy putting up pictures of.
Continue.
Yeah, I don't think. Honestly, I don't know where his qualification is.
Psychologist.
Because I see where they he asked him one fucking question, and that was pretty much it.
Unfortunately, drugs and alcohol are part of psychiatric practice, and so
I'm being way too scatterbrained about it. I'm just gonna go back to the to where he's actually put up on cross. The qualification was great only because the guy gets really pissy and angry, and if I can find a quick clip on Twitter, it's probably easier. He looks like cartoon mad scientist. Yeah, no, totally. I don't think the qualifications, but I think the cross-examination is the best part. But during the qualification, he was asked a few different things. The clip we were taking a look at earlier, I think, was from the qualification part about Johnny Depp, declining doing an interview with him. And the thing is, that's not true. Amber Heard's team wanted a psych eval on Johnny Depp, and Johnny Depp's team got it, shut down by the court. And there's a legal reason why Amber Heard's mental state is at issue and Johnny Depp's isn't. And from what I understand, it's because Amber Heard is claiming mental, like she's claiming damages related to the stress this put on her mental health, right? So her mental health becomes an issue in the case. Johnny Depp isn't suing for any of that. Johnny Depp is suing for like the actual damages of losing out on movie roles and things like that. So suing him in her counterclaim, right, is fine, but it opened up Amber Heard's mental health. For Johnny Depp, his lawsuit never made his mental health an issue. So her team trying to get the court to order a psych eval on Johnny Depp, it didn't pan out because it's in no way relevant to the case. They've tried to make it an issue by bringing this guy in and stating that, you know, Johnny Depp was someone who he observed to have all these different behaviors. But, you know, it basically comes up here, and it's why what this guy's doing is so fucked up, right? And it really sticks to Amber Heard's entire strategy during this trial, which has basically been to throw mud and throw dirt at Johnny Depp and his team and never take accountability for their own bullshit. Her mental health is all on her. Yeah, no, that's true. I agree.
The last thing you talked about
oh man, I don't know where
was
they were
the
going with that.
Goldwater rule.
Yes, sir.
Been around for almost 50 years, right?
Yeah, I'm 59. That sounds about right.
Yeah. And it's been around as a result of a presidential election that you referenced.
Yes.
And who has that rule? What organization maintains that rule?
The American Psychiatric Association.
An association you're a member of.
Association that I'm a member of, yes.
Aren't you a fellow or something?
Yes, I am.
Okay. So, and this is an ethical rule, right?
It is an ethical rule. And yes, it's ethical. They say rules. It's an ethical guideline. Yes, they're guidelines.
Mm-hmm. And you know that over time, the American Psychiatric Association has amended the rule, so it's not just about diagnoses, but it's also about professional opinions.
Could you be more specific, say, about professional opinion in regards
See, this is where I think the guy knew he was completely fucked, right? And the lawyer's gonna really dive into it. It's fucking great. But he's really screwed here. And this is why he comes across as a terrible witness for Amber Heard. God, what's the term? Hatchet man? Hatchet man? Like he looks like he was paid to be here, right? Like he looks like he is paid to say whatever helps Amber Heard and say whatever he needs to make Johnny Depp look to be the bad guy in this entire relationship. And it comes across how biased he is during his testimony with Heard's attorney, right? He just gets really pressed on it here. And the thing is, giving an opinion, a professional opinion, which is what he is doing as an expert witness, without a court order and without consent, without ever speaking with the person that he is offering this professional opinion on, is seen as highly unethical by the American Psychiatric Association. This man is a member of that association, so it's not like he isn't a member and he can state, you know, like he openly disagrees with the APA because he isn't a member of the APA. But he is. And it's like, dude, what you're doing here is wrong. And again, Johnny Depp's mental health is not an issue in the trial, right? So this guy coming in and offering a professional opinion, right, on Johnny Depp's mental state is completely fucking unethical, especially because he knows that they do not have a court order and that Johnny Depp has not consented to him doing any type of evaluation on him. Like, this guy's just a piece of shit. I'm sorry to interrupt. I've been wanting to talk about this shit since Monday.
Let me read this and see if you're familiar with it. It is unethical for a psychiatrist to offer a professional opinion about an individual based on publicly available information without conducting an examination. That's the rule, right?
If you're reading it directly, I will believe you.
Okay. However, a diagnosis is not required for an opinion to be professional. So my question is, it's not just diagnosis that this Goldwater rule applies to, it's professional opinions.
So again, I'll reiterate that would come down to essentially nullifying witness testimony, expert witness testimony, without a direct evaluation. And as we know, it didn't happen. But regardless of that, the whole expert witness testimony thing would be basically rendered null and void.
The rule, in fact, contemplates that issue, doesn't it, sir?
Again, I'm just telling you the answer to the question. When you're reading me those statements, I'm telling you the response by the other side, who is publishes also, is that if that was the case, there could be no expert witness testimony in the courtroom.
See, and look, the attorney's already touched up on this, and the thing is, it really just comes down to whether or not the jury there is as stupid as this idiot is. It's already been covered, right? You can testify as an expert witness, right? In a court case, absolutely, right? Because if the subject's mental health is at issue, whether it be the defendant or the plaintiff, and they refuse to give consent, then there would be a court order, right? In which case, he can do an evaluation, right? He has a court order to do it. So even if Johnny Depp didn't consent, there you go, right? The problem with this man is he knows, or he should know. Like, he seems to throw it on Heard's legal team in a way here that I think is just this guy being just a piece of shit, right? He is a piece of shit, like 100%. Like, god damn. It's like Heard picked people that are just surface level, right? Fucking Roddenborn is her fucking attorney. This man is her therapist. Like, holy shit. It's fucking Christ, man. It's great. It's really fucking great. She knows how to fucking pick them. That's for sure.
Psychiatrists are ethically prohibited from evaluating individuals without permission or other authorization, such as a court order. That's the rule, right?
Again, if you're reading that, then I have to believe you're not misrepresenting it.
He's like, he's a member of the APA.
This whole thing,
he should know.
Might as well get rid of all the expert witnesses we've had throughout all the time for court proceedings, because then you're saying,
God damn it! What a fucking liar!
Just said, or the APA said, then therefore expert witnesses cannot do an evaluation based on an observation of the medical records. Insurance companies cannot do evaluations solely based on the medical record with our doctors rendering professional opinions. So at the end of the day, you are essentially saying that unless someone has directly evaluated it, this whole medical system we have, this whole legal system we have, is null and void.
I'm not saying
He's...
you
God damn.
Let him speak. You're not supposed to be able to sit there and be argumentative like some crazy
what I
person.
am reading to you is a rule by your organization that takes into account that there could be court orders that would permit the exact kind of evaluation that you say I'm eliminating.
And I think we're going in circles, because I think
what a piece of shit.
Expert witness testimony would not be allowed, and the branch of forensic psychiatry would be especially hindered. And we know the branch of forensic psychiatry does not prohibit that. So I am a member of the APA. That doesn't necessarily mean every single thing they put in there, everybody has to uncategorically agree with, because clearly that's not the case.
Did you agree in your deposition that the professional opinions you rendered were inconsistent with the Goldwater rule?
Yeah, my first was inconsistent. If we're saying that if Goldwater rule says, and I very much said that during deposition, that the Goldwater rule was made for presidents and public figures such as that. But regardless of that, because that's what it was made for, it's not made for Hollywood. But I'll even take that Mr. Depp's a public figure. What a nice guy. The Goldwater rule is saying we cannot do any expert witness testimony in our field. That is exactly what the Goldwater rule is saying based on exactly what you read. And I'm just telling you what you are saying that rule encompasses.
What I'm asking you, sir, is did you comply with the ethical requirements of the APA
No.
when rendering the professional opinions that you've rendered today?
It is a requirement of the APA. Requirement.
That's my favorite part.
Secondary.
That is like my favorite fucking part. It's like, oh, it is a requirement. It's not the requirement. What a fucking sack of crap. That's great. That's fucking great. It's not a requirement, guys. It's just a requirement. It's just a requirement. It's not the requirement. It's a requirement. Right? Right, guys? Right? Sure. It's totally fucking unethical. But see, as it was just one singular requirement, right? It's not wholly unethical. It's just partly unethical. What is I love his logic. This guy's like he's awesome. He's fucking great. He's like he's a rat. He's a fucking rat.
So the answer is no. Secondarily, again, in order to not we wasted our whole morning because there was an expert witness before me. There's an expert witness
Oh.
So all I'm saying to you, that means the whole field of medical legal law is corrupt and unethical for engaging in it.
So dishonest.
We should not do. So if you're saying that, then the answer is yes, I'm agreeing with that statement.
You're agreeing that the APA would deem your testimony and your professional opinions rendered unethical.
Again, I'm saying you are saying that I'm an expert witness. I'm saying as an expert witness and solely as an expert witness, that guideline is permitting that from occurring. I would say then that the whole field of expert witness testimony, again, would be disavowed by what you are quoting in the Goldwater rule. And we know that's not the case, because if it was, we would not be allowed to do it.
And you said the rule was pressure, right?
That was initially press, yes.
But, and the name of the rule came from that. But the rule says it is unethical for a psychiatrist to offer a professional opinion about an individual. That's right, sir. It's not just presidents, it's not public figures, it's individuals.
Funny, it was named after according to your logic, if you don't put something in the title, it's not true. That's what you told me this morning, I believe, about my intimate partner violence. So what I would say to you then, sir, is that if you say this about an individual, again, any court would have to render an expert witness testimony.
Oh, God. Okay, so, like, I always get the best pause faces. This, whether or not what he is saying is true is hardly the issue here. The problem is he doesn't look very controlled. Look, visually speaking, and this is the problem when you look at how a court system works when you have a jury. The jury is going to make decisions on people based on things beyond just their testimony, right? Visually speaking, this man looks flustered, right? His hair looks like a fucking mess. This guy here, no shit, I believe is 2 years older than Johnny Depp. And he looks like he is 2 years away from a tombstone. Like, it's nuts. It's fucking nuts, right? but this guy looks like shit, right? And he, like, this attorney earlier when they were qualifying him as a witness really flustered this guy, really pissed him off, right? Questioned his qualifications, right? And now, you know, after that's been settled, right? The other attorney has questioned him. He's given his testimony. This guy comes in and right off the bat, he's being very defensive and very argumentative. And the attorney is not pressing him that hard, right? Like, the attorney eventually, I believe, becomes a bit of a smartass too. But as of right now, he hasn't done that. So visually speaking, if you're sitting there on the jury, right? You see this guy, the moment he is slightly pushed in any way off of what he has stated, gets very angry and very defensive. That's not a good look, okay? Like, that's to a jury, that's got to be putting up massive red flags, right? Because you're dealing with real people. You're dealing with actual real people. It's true he is digging his own grave. Yeah, no, yeah, fuck, man. This witness was bad for Heard. This witness was very, very bad for Heard. Not as bad as the witness that's coming up tomorrow on Depp's side, which is someone everybody is looking forward to say the least.
Doctor that reviews charts would have to render it invalid. I can go on the list of docs that do not see or interview patients directly, and that's a violation. So basically, you are saying that unless you do a direct clinical evaluation, then all of the field of forensic psychiatry and all of managed care is doing an unethical violation because we are not seeing the presence. We deny patients medications all the time without seeing them. We deny patients treatments, unfortunately, without seeing them. And I'm on the receiving end of that. So the answer to your question, again,
It's his antidepressants he's referring to.
that all of this is unethical, which is what you are saying. This is how I'm interpreting what you are saying to me. That unless you do the evaluation directly yourself,
Yes, you're not seeing him.
therefore it could not be considered ethical. And I'm telling you how that's applicable to not just expert law, but also managed care. It's applicable to multiple branches of medicine. Hospital duration of hospitalization stating.
Again,
So,
court orders exist.
want me to end this?
He's getting wrecked.
Tell me where you want me to end this.
What you just testified to, because I didn't ask you anything about that. I asked you whether, under this rubric, under this principle of medical ethics, have you acted unethically? Yes or no?
No. As an expert witness, I have not acted unethically. And if you want the jury to believe that expert witnesses are unethical, then I guess that's for them to decide.
Yes
And
or
that's
no,
for them
sir.
to
You
decide.
said no. Let's go to the next question.
Okay.
Right? Psychiatric diagnosis occurs in the context of an evaluation based on thorough history
Exactly.
taking, examination, and where applicable, collated or collateral information. You'll agree with that?
I believe I said that earlier, yes.
Yeah. And it's a departure from the methods of the profession to render an opinion without an examination and without conducting an evaluation in accordance with the standards of psychiatric practice.
Exactly.
Correct?
I've said that a million
Well,
times.
Again,
No
by the way,
remote
for the record,
diagnosis.
intimate partner violence is not a psychiatric diagnosis. I'll start with that. Substance usage by themselves is not a psychiatric diagnosis. If you want to cut to the chase, psychiatric use is not a diagnosis of that. Narcissistic personality traits is not a diagnosis. Ergo, I am basically commenting on the things that were brought to me, which are not diagnosis. But an evaluation, if I was going to treat a patient or anyone here, those are the steps I would take.
We, I think, started with the notion that this rule applies broader than diagnoses. It applies to professional opinions.
I believe
And
you
you've
just
rendered
quoted
professional opinions relative to narcissistic personality traits, haven't you, sir? Relative to Mr. Depp.
Again, I believe you just commented on what it takes to do in a psychiatric evaluation to establish a diagnosis. I'm almost certain that's what you said. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you didn't say that, but I'm sure you did. And therefore, what I'm saying is neither IPV nor substance usage nor narcissistic personality traits a psychiatric diagnosis. And then under the rubric of expert witness testimony, you are saying I acted unethically under the rubric of expert witness testimony. So if you, sir, would like to proceed that expert witnesses are unethical based on that, I am not going to sit here and disagree with you and waste everyone's time. I think it's fairly obvious. But thank you. Go ahead. These were your words. I'm just saying them back how they're interpreted.
Okay.
All right. I don't know if you guys can see it, but there's a dude in the court behind the attorney, yellow tie, and the look on his face is just fucking, it's killing me, right? The people that, like, I think the people in the courtroom know how fucking bad this is, and it's great. Anytime they flash over to Depp or his attorney, they are dumbstruck by the shit that's coming out of this man's mouth.
Let's start with the easy question then. Maybe we can.
That was pretty easy. Go ahead.
All right, Doctor, you're going to have to just answer the question.
The judge got onto him.
You need to just answer the question.
Okay.
Dr. Speaks.
I love it.
You are not rendering any diagnosis whatsoever of Mr. Depp today or ever.
No, I probably would say to you that certainly I would not say narcissistic personality, or I would say traits. Certainly, from what I have read, intimate partner violence not a diagnosis. So the answer is no for that. Narcissistic personality traits is not a diagnosis.
It is coming from
but
your
if you
mouth.
want to tell me that substance use disorder is a psychiatric diagnosis, the answer is yes. And
But
You know
that
he has
wasn't
to-
an issue, was it? Whether Mr. Depp used substances.
Part of
I mean, you said
substance
you've
use
gone through the record.
diagnosis
That
is
wasn't really an
timeline
issue with
too.
this trial. He's said it from day one.
oh, so you're saying he's already admitted to the diagnosis?
He's already admitted to the use of the substances.
Well, again, there's a difference between admitting to substance use and substance use disorder.
Let's go back to what you just said about narcissistic personality traits.
Yes.
Narcissistic personality disorder is a DSM-5 diagnosis, correct?
Correct.
Diagnostic personality, and you haven't testified that Mr. Depp has narcissistic personality disorder, have you?
I would certainly, if I didn't, I'm certainly thinking that, but at least I'm going to say he has traits, which are characteristics of provisional diagnosis of, it's a provisional diagnosis, probably narcissistic personality disorder. But yeah, I mean, I do believe that.
Well, when you say provisional diagnosis, you know the DSM-5 requires, in order to find that diagnosis, 5 of the 9 factors. And you haven't done that analysis. You've never made that diagnosis. You've just identified certain factors
that are criteria for the diagnosis.
Right.
Yep.
But you need 5 of 9 to get to the diagnosis. You've already told us that you didn't make a diagnosis. You're
We'll talk about
just
those right.
identifying traits, correct?
I'm identifying traits that are consistent with the diagnosis. Yes.
Right. And did you testify in deposition that the existence of traits as opposed to the disorder doesn't have a correlation with IPV?
If I said traits do not have a correlation with the, if that's what I said, and I don't remember saying that, but that wouldn't be a correct thing. Narcissism has a correlation with the diagnosis. Yes, that part's true.
All right, how far are we going to back this up? Because there's a diagnosis of narcissistic personality disorder, right?
Yes, sir.
And that one is tied, has some correlation with IPV, right?
Narcissism has correlation with IPV. Again, you're not allowing me to answer. You're splitting.
I like how he wasn't even interrupted there.
The traits that are consistent with, which all I'm commenting on is behaviors and traits that are consistent with the diagnosis. And Mr. Depp, narcissism absolutely has risk factors associated with IPV.
Let's go back again, and maybe we can focus on the question I ask you, and we can get an answer that's addressed to that question. Narcissistic personality disorder is a risk factor for IPV? Yes or no?
Yes.
And you previously testified that there is no literature at which you are currently aware that the mere presence of narcissistic traits is a risk factor for IPV.
Am I answering the question?
Yes.
That's incorrect. Cluster.
You didn't testify that.
A cluster B traits, which narcissistic personality disorder is part of, is a huge risk factor for intimate partner violence, which include cluster B traits include narcissistic personality disorder, antisocial personality disorder, amongst others. So the answer to the question is every resource on intimate partner violence will support that cluster B traits where narcissistic personality falls under is a risk factor for intimate partner violence.
Any single trait is a risk factor for IPV.
Again, I will repeat, cluster B traits. I didn't say any trait. I said cluster. No,
let me be more precise then.
Okay.
Any narcissistic trait in and of itself is a risk factor for IPV.
But you are mischaracterizing what I said. What I said, I'm pretty sure I said cluster. If you look at all the intimate partner violence literature, and I would behoove you to do so, you will see that cluster B traits. I didn't say narcissistic per se. Cluster B traits, where narcissistic personality disorder is part of, are risk factors for intimate partner violence, part and parcel, uniformly true. And I'm not sure, the thing I don't understand is I'm not sure why we're arguing psychiatry, because I'm telling you what it is.
What a jackass.
Okay.
So you want to
Even the
He's
judge
so
is
mad.
pissed.
He's so mad.
Borderline personality disorder is a risk factor for IPV.
As part of cluster B traits, yes.
Histrionic personality disorder is a risk factor for IPV.
Less so.
But it
Less so. Less so. I mean, it's a risk factor, but less so, yes.
Yeah.
Less so. Significantly less so.
All right. So which traits under narcissistic, before I move on there's only been one diagnosis in court of personality disorders, correct?
I'm not sure who you're referring to.
Oh,
Are you referring to Mr. Depp, Ms. Hurt? Who? I'm not sure what you were talking about.
Do you understand that there was a medical examination done of Ms. Hurt?
Yes, I did.
Do you understand that the testimony was ultimately that Ms. Hurd suffers from 2 personality disorders?
Okay, so I'm just being specific. I just wanted to know if you're talking about Ms. Hurd or Mr. Depp. So that's all I was asking you.
Yes or no to my question?
Which was there's only one diagnosis of Ms. Hurd was diagnosed with that.
Yeah, and both of the diagnoses are in cluster B, and both of them are risk factors for IPV.
But both those cluster B things are. I'm not allowed to comment on the testing, so therefore, all I can say is that cluster B traits, and I'll tell you what they are. And by the way, I testified this before, which was that 1, I don't expect perfection from my victims. 2, absolutely there were cluster B traits Ms. Hurd had. Absolutely, Ms. Hurd had.
Given that you've testified to it before, let's move on to a new question.
Okay.
All right. You indicated, in your opinion today,
He's getting
that you
wrecked.
thought, well, why don't we move a little differently? Are you a member of the American Medical Association?
No.
Okay, so you don't know what the ethical rule of the American Medical Association is relative to doing clinical diagnoses about individuals you've never talked to.
So you're saying in terms of doing expert witness evaluations under that rubric, right?
I'm just asking you, do you know the AMA's rule?
You're saying the AMA's ruling under the rubric of not doing evaluation something you did not see, and I'm questioning. I'm asking. So you are talking about expert witness testimony?
No, I'm talking about. Do you know the rule?
I'm not a member of the AMA, so I
Okay,
I don't
great.
read the.
We can move on. You don't know the rule. All right. You rendered an opinion about Mr. Depp's purported cognitive impairment.
Yes.
Yeah. What do you use as a baseline?
A baseline for processing speed?
Yeah, for analyzing Mr. Depp before you watched his deposition.
What do I use a baseline for that?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess my baseline would probably be how I've seen him interact in public. How I've seen him interact with others. I've seen him interact in media. I've seen him interact and his process speed is certainly not slow. I've seen him do commercials. His process speed was not slow.
At deposition, didn't you say that what you did was compare Mr. Depp's performance in lots of pirate movies against his deposition?
I fucking love it. The look on Depp's face is just amazing here. Right? Like, come on, that's great. How do you get his opinion? I can tell he's different because I watched him in a lot of pirate movies, and he's different from the pirate movies. What a fucking jackass! Like this guy, if you let him talk uninterrupted on a subject without giving him any type of pushback, he sounds believable enough. It's when you start giving him any type of pushback or question the things that he has said that he just crumbles instantly. But this shit is just too fucking good.
I've seen Mr. Depp do apology ads. I remember he did an apology ad with Bad Dog with no delay in process speed. I've seen him interact with the media
dog
regarding to that. I saw no delay in processing speed. All I'm saying.
Let me ask you about pirates, though. You compared pirates to the to the depositions given in this case.
Then I apologize for what I said. Then I misspoke.
You misspoke? You didn't make the comparison?
Right now, just a second ago? Just a second ago, I may have said that I misspoke. I apologize. I misspoke.
Okay.
It's okay, guys. He just misspoke.
You can't compare pirates to sworn testimony.
Pirates, the movie, to sworn
fucking
testimony.
great.
What a moron.
But you can. But as an aside, you can judge someone's process.
Oh my God, no! He defended it.
Now you're judging mine. We all judge.
He defended using the fucking Pirates movies. He defended using the fucking Pirates movies. That's amazing. That's fucking amazing. Can you imagine, and not that Amber Heard's actually been in that many movies to do this to her, but like, can you imagine going like, I know Amber Heard is an abuser. I watched her as Mara in Aquaman. She was much nicer in the film to fucking Jason Momoa. So clearly she wanted to cheat on Johnny Depp. What kind of fucked up logic is this idiot doing? It's amazing.
Speed right now is not slow. So, I mean, we're judging processing speed. I'm just saying to you.
Yeah. But no.
Look at the faces. Like, look at them.
In movies, did that affect your analysis of processing speed?
Only I've seen him interact on interviews, and that was it. Right. When he wasn't in movies.
Right. But Willy Wonka doesn't matter to you? See him in that movie, Charlie and Chocolate Factory? Did you look at that one when you were comparing this?
What is he doing?
Do I have to answer that question, Your Honor?
You have to answer questions.
Oh my God, that's amazing. Guys, come on. That was fucking great. That was fucking great. That was just so great. Like, holy shit. He's like, what about Willy Wonka? And the guy gets what he's doing to him. That's the best part. He gets what he's doing to him, and he just stares him down, right? Doesn't respond, turns over to the judge. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God, that was great. Today was the murder of how not famous Heard was. They had the nerve to compare her to Zendaya. I think we're counting as like a 45-second clip. I think he's in the clip or the stream from today on Tug's channel, but they had this Hollywood lawyer guy, but the dude he decimated Heard's professional witness, and it's like Amber. Here's the thing, right? Amber Heard tried comparing herself to Jason Momoa in trying to like prove off damages and shit like that. And the attorney, and I call him an attorney because I believe he's a lawyer. But the guy testifying basically said, Jason Momoa, like that's a one-off. That's like a remarkable story. And you can't compare Aquaman, the lead in one of the most successful films, for Warner Bros. You can't compare him to Mira, who's a supporting character who barely had a part in the Justice League film, right? Like I think she was in there for like 10 seconds, but yeah, they compared her to like Zendaya and other famous actresses and actors who are all like exceedingly more popular. I'm not going to say that they're better, that they're more skilled. Now, obviously, I think that for the most part, because the names that I saw brought up, I would say that they're more skilled than she is. But no doubt about it, they are people who are outstandingly more popular than Amber Heard has ever been. And I'm talking about prior to Johnny Depp suing her for defamation or even suing The Sun in the UK and all the shit that's come out about her. She was still never as popular as the people she tried to compare herself with. It's nuts. 10,000% more skilled. I think a little bit more than that, honestly. She is fucking awful.
Jump Street when it happened, whatever it was about. No, I did not.
All right. You made a very kind admission, I think, early on in your deposition, that you're not claiming to be a better actor than Mr. Depp. That's correct, isn't it?
100%.
All right. But with respect to acting, you know that actors actually rehearse for their parts and work on the language, diction, timing of their dialogue as part of that rehearsal?
If you say that's, I'm not an actor, so I don't know what goes on. I can't tell you. I have no idea what goes on in acting.
Okay, but you don't know enough about acting to know whether actors rehearse?
Sir, I am not an expert in acting. I have no idea what an actor does.
Okay.
He's getting wrecked so bad he has to ask the judge, like, do I really have to answer that?
During your deposition, what were the circumstances under which you decided to call Mr. Depp an idiot?
Under somebody call Mr. Depp an idiot?
Yeah, you called Mr. Depp an idiot.
Oh, I love this.
Okay. So
I wasn't calling him an idiot.
I think it was in the, you probably should read the context of it, because I think the context was, and I'm trying to think back. Okay. And what I thought it was related.
This is awesome. Because they read his quote.
Deposition. Okay. And again, I'm thinking back. So you have it in front of you. I don't. So I'm thinking back where he's coming in from Europe for a deposition, video deposition that he gave. And he took it overnight the night before. And what I think I said was that if you're going to do a major thing to a trial that you're involved with, I think you'd be an idiot to come in the night before. So I didn't call Mr. Depp an idiot. I certainly called that planning an idiot. I didn't call him an idiot.
So the words, so I mean he's an idiot, are mistranscribed?
No, I'm sure. If you just read one line, one snippet.
So I mean he's an idiot would be you calling the guy an idiot. Like, what the fuck?
Is idiot a professional opinion?
I wasn't running professional.
Yeah, is it a psychiatric opinion?
And that follows the Goldwater rule.
What the fuck?
How does it follow?
Oh, you just said that. I'm not rendering a professional opinion. I just said idiot. That's not a.
Right, so idiot is not a professional opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Is it your practice to describe people as idiots?
My practice describe people. In my practice, no, I don't describe people my clinical cases as idiots or patients as idiots or victims as idiots. No, sir.
But you sat for a deposition in this case and described the plaintiff as an idiot, correct?
You gave me 9 hours of deposition, and if I said the word idiot, it was an idiot in planning. It wasn't making him an idiot.
Even if he directly calls the guy an idiot,
so therefore, if I said it,
just all he has to do is say that he called him an idiot. Like, fuck.
All right. So you did say you don't know his overall functioning, but you made some testimony today as to some evaluations you made relative to his functioning. You would agree with me that it's probably a good idea to think about the questions that are asked you in a court proceeding before answering.
Am I allowed to answer that question?
Yes.
Okay. So what I meant by function, what I said by function, I believe that his agent reported how late he was showing up to every movie while the cast is waiting for him. I believe that would be an impairment. If I showed up late for that, I would not be here right now, would not have a job. Okay. I believe the thing was in terms of balking out of treatment for substance rehab that his doctor is prescribing for him. So if you're asking me if that's an impairment of functioning, I would say I'm very much substantiated in that.
I'm trying to understand how you got to this notion of cognitive decline. And I thought it was based at least in part on the manner in which he testified.
I'm sorry, what?
On the manner in which he testified.
On the manner, I'm sorry, I'm not being difficult. I can't hear. I'm sorry. On what?
I was asking you about the cognitive decline testimony that you made.
Yes.
And it was my understanding that at least a portion of that testimony that you rendered was that you derived some evidence of cognitive decline from the way Mr. Depp testified.
Yes.
Okay.
And that's what I said. Yes.
Right. And so all I'm asking you is, don't you think it's a good idea when you're in the middle of a court proceeding to answer questions carefully?
Again, professionally, we diagnose patients with a neurocognitive disorder by gross evaluation all the time with cognitive. On the thought that, again, age normal controls. I'm just saying, age normative controls does not put a 58-year-old gentleman at that processing. That's all I'm saying. That's all I said.
And you derived this without ever once talking to the man.
You mean me directly talking to him? Because we know how I derived it. So you're talking about me directly talking to him?
Oh, I love that.
No, I never. No.
We know how I derived. Why are you asking me?
And this exam you gave, well, you did talk about Dr. Blaustein, right?
Yes, sir.
And you understand that the entirety of Dr. Blaustein's medical records are 12 pages of handwritten notes.
The important part was what I said. For me, as an example of cognition, which I'm trying to prove, which is what you asked me, the important part was what I said. And that was irrefutable.
The important part is that he gave the mini mental status exam?
Yes, sir.
All right. Let's talk about the mini mental status exam. Scored on a 30-point scale, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. All right. And it's an exam that basically is most often used for Alzheimer's, dementia, those kind of testing.
It's an exam that tests cognition in all psychiatric illnesses, not just Alzheimer's. It was made for dementia for Alzheimer's, but is the standard, has been the standard for testing cognition in all psychiatric illness, substance use disorders included.
Okay. Now, there is an element of that exam that requires drawing, correct?
Yes.
So you don't know what drawing Mr. Depp did, or
I'll
whether
post
the
a-
drawing should have been fully scored.
I wasn't questioning his visual spatial perceptual skills, which is what that does.
Right. And you don't know what score Mr. Depp received on the exam?
I was very specific. I know 3 words, not remembering at 5 minutes. That's all I said.
3 words, not remembering 5 minutes, and he remembered one of them, right?
From what I understand, he didn't remember any of them.
All right. Memory on the exam. Out of the 30 points, what's it worth? 3. 3, right? Memory is 3 out of the 30.
Yeah, memory is 3.
Okay.
But again, the memory section in and of itself tests memory. That's the only question that tests memory. Only section that actually tests memory.
So the memory section tests memory. It's the only section you testified about. And for all you know, that with respect to the exam that you're relying on, Mr. Depp scored 27 out of 30.
And that would be telling, though, cognitive. If you score 27 out of 30 and you miss 3 points on memory, that would be very telling.
You don't know if Mr. Depp...
You don't know.
What the fuck?
The night before.
I'm going to post this to show you.
Again, you
That's
would
insane.
not recall.
If he misses 3 points out of 30, that tells you a lot. Holy fuck.
And again, now that's... Again, now that could affect memory, but I'm not refuting.
You don't know.
I'm not refuting that at all. He could have been high, he could have been drunk, he could have been using cocaine, and that would absolutely affect his memory, which is what I said. Yes, you're right.
So ultimately, you have no idea what state Mr. Depp was in at the time he took the exam that you're relying on.
Short of what you just said about drugs and alcohol, okay, there shouldn't be a reason why a 58-year-old also with strokes and other neurocognitive conditions. But short of that, there shouldn't be a really good reason why someone at that age shouldn't come up with at least one.
But you think he's an alcoholic and a drug addict, so...
You started that question with short of drugs and alcohol and spent 35 minutes talking about his use of drugs and alcohol.
Exactly.
Well, I'm agreeing. I thought I agree with you. I think I agreed. I said that drugs and alcohol can absolutely affect cognition. I'm not sure. I agree, but I'm not sure if that's a problem. I agree with you on that.
All right. So you don't know one way or the other how he scored on the exam. You don't know whether he was at the time on drugs and alcohol, but you're going to rely on it in your testimony to say that he's cognitively impaired.
Which is what we do in clinical medicine, sir.
What?
You rely on tests that you don't know when it was administered, you don't know the score of the test, and you don't know the state of the person being tested, but you're going to rely on it anyway.
Again, if we had to know every test, when people get the mini mental state exam, we have no idea clinically if they are high, wasted, stoned, stroke. We have no idea. So if you're going to say that, that means everybody needs a drug test before they do a mini mental study, and that's not.
It's also more effective in women than men. There's actually a bias level when you give this.
Let's talk a little
to men
bit
versus women
about this word you kept using, correlation.
We'll talk about all this at the break.
You know the word, right?
That's my
Yes.
world.
Correlation and causation aren't the same thing, are they, sir?
No, they're not the same thing.
No. How are they different?
Correlation is consistent with causation, is direct link.
Can you say that again? You're so fast I didn't hear it.
I'm sorry about that. Correlation is a risk for something happening. Causation is a direct link.
Right. So just because something's correlated doesn't mean it's going to happen.
100%.
Right.
100%.
Like lung cancer, for instance. Smoking is very highly correlated with lung cancer, right?
Yeah, and there's certainly a link to lung cancer and smoking.
Right. But not all smokers get lung cancer.
Not all smokers do. No one, like I said, no one fits the curve perfectly.
Right. And you made repeated testimony and to all of us. All of us do this. All of us do that.
Mm-hmm.
Your suggestion about all of us is you're just looking at the world as a sample and not at any particular individual, correct?
What I'm looking at is that I am not talking about an individual, how they can or cannot be resistant. What I'm saying is invariably, when you use substances, this is going to happen. Now, is there a 0.05% chance that someone who does? Absolutely there is. But is that medical degree of certainty? Absolutely not.
A 0.05% chance of what, sir?
Of eventually developing symptoms. If you're using excessively, eventually you're going to develop symptoms.
All right. But risk factors tell us nothing about any one particular individual, do they, sir?
No, again, risk factors tell us nothing except that they have it, they're at a higher likelihood of developing it. That's
Right.
what it tells us.
But you did a whole litany of risk factors relative to IPV.
Yes.
Right. And none of those risk factors tell us anything specifically about an individual.
Other than they're at higher risk. Right.
Right. So someone could have every single risk factor for IPV and never commit IPV, right?
It would be, again, if you're going to say a medical degree of probability, the answer is they will. But if you're saying uniformly, the answer is no.
Right. IPV can occur without substance abuse.
Oh, sure.
Someone can abuse substances without ever perpetrating IPV.
Again, absolutely. But again, you are saying different than what I said. I did not say abusing substance. I said substance use disorder. Those are two different things, because there are surely people who use substances that do not engage in any violence, do not become psychotic, nothing at all. So
and that's
absolutely.
equally true of people who have substance abuse disorder. There are certainly people who have substance abuse disorder who don't commit IPV, correct?
They are saying people who have substance use disorders, the majority of them, over 50% do. So over 50% do. So that's medical.
The answer is yes.
As you said, not everyone who smokes gets lung cancer.
So
it's like he just doesn't want to agree with the attorney. That's basically it.
Say 40% of the people who have substance abuse disorder don't commit IPV.
And those are the ones that do not have IPV risk factors, right? So we're talking about people
Wait a minute.
who don't.
Isn't substance abuse disorder an IPV risk factor?
So they have a risk factor. What a dumbass.
But again, we're talking about people in general. You don't know anything about any particular individual as to whether anybody's going to commit IPV.
If statistics follow through, all we can say is more than 50%, 70% will. If you combine more risk factors you have, the more likely you're going to develop the illness. If you smoke cigarettes once, that might not correlate to lung cancer. If you smoke it chronically, that might.
Right.
So that's all I'm
we're
saying.
talking about individuals here. You either have lung cancer or you don't, right?
If you're smoking.
Right. Right. You either commit IPV or you didn't.
I mean, yeah, you either did or you didn't, yes.
Right. So you took some issue with me because I was asking about substance abuse generally, and you wanted me to talk about the disorder. I asked you earlier about narcissistic personality disorder, and you haven't made that diagnosis. You've just talked about the traits, right?
Yes.
And somebody can have these narcissistic personality traits and substance abuse disorder and never commit IPV, right?
So, along that line,
right?
About
God damn, dude.
of people who commit IPV have a personality disorder. So the answer is less than about 10%. Obviously, do not.
Right. There are more close links with IP.
Well, Danny, be real with me. Are you serious? Danny said that a ghost just knocked on the door where they're at. Danny, tell me the story in the chat. I'm going to keep playing the video. You tell me everything. I'm going to read it out, okay? Because that's awesome. Also, Latchkey Goth Boy. Wait, is that umbrella guy the leader of the pro Johnny Depp fan club or whatever that lady lawyer said? Johnny Depp has an attorney called Adam Waldman who was giving information to social media accounts like that umbrella guy and others who were reporting on the story. Now, Adam Waldman referred to them as internet journalists, but I mean, regardless of how you want to classify them, they had an inside source through one of Johnny Depp's attorneys. I mean, there are larger accounts or larger channels like Asmongold who are covering the trial now. But that umbrella guy, I think, would probably be one of the most influential in the sense that they were breaking a fuck ton of stories to the point that the Amber Heard fan club was trying to get his channel shut down permanently. All right, let me keep playing it.
TV for borderline personality disorder than narcissistic personality disorder. Correct, sir?
I'm not going to agree with that.
No,
I'm not saying there are more links. I would say to you, there are absolute. If you're asking me, there are links. The answer is absolutely. If you're saying to me more, I can show studies. Say yes, show studies. Say that has not been absolutely definitively correlated. No, absolutely not.
What a clown! This guy makes it hard for the rest of us to get patients into treatment. You know, smoke the weed, you'll beat your wife. Why would anybody ever want to be diagnosed? Because they end up with this on them. The stigma that these people create is unreal.
MDMA. What is it?
Ecstasy.
Yeah. And what's the normal dosage of ecstasy for people who use ecstasy?
Again, I couldn't tell you the quote unquote normal dose because honestly speaking, no one knows what they're getting when they're using it, right? It's not regulated. So,
but the effects of ecstasy enhance sense of well-being?
At low doses, the answer is yes. I'm going to gather when you're using it at higher doses and develop tolerance, you develop the sympathomimetic effects, which are not so enhanced well-being.
Increased extroversion,
Again, at low dose, you are 100% right. At low amounts, you are 100% right. It is an entactogen. We feel closer to people. That's what people who use it say. They feel close to people, warmth to people, 100%. But with continual use and higher doses, it could be fatal. Right. So that's not well-being. I don't know if I call that well-being.
So continued use at higher doses, MDMA can be fatal, correct?
Correct.
What if you took 8 to 10 tablets of MDMA?
What if you took 8 to 10? Again, you don't know what it's very hard to say that. You don't know what it's, what's the word I'm looking for? Contaminated with. Okay. You can't just say, hey, let me just take 8 to 10 pure ecstasy and see what happens. That's not going to happen. So what I would say to you, again, because substance abuse are unpredictable, they are not regulated. No one knows what they're going to. No one has any idea whether it's going to cause this empathic entactogen effect at very low doses, or is it going to cause the sympathomimetic, increase, it's like a stimulant, like cocaine, something we talked about like that. No one knows what's
he's trying to sound
It's not
smart. You
regulated.
throw around those $10
And no one knows
words,
if
baby.
you're using with other substances either, like other stimulants.
Or if you mix it with alcohol.
Or if you mix it with alcohol. No one knows if it's going to be potentially worse.
Right. But if this is a potentially lethal combination, 8 to 10 MDMA tablets and alcohol.
This is a potentially toxic combination.
Right.
Can it kill you? Yeah, I mean, it is a potentially toxic combination. That's true.
Ever heard of someone cutting off their own finger on MDMA?
Have I ever heard of it?
Yeah.
No, I can only give you one example.
Hadn't seen that one before. Okay. So, Seroquel.
He was going to say, yes, I have. Johnny Depp. Ha!
Puts you to sleep, right?
If you want a phrase of barbiturate putting you to sleep, then the answer is yes.
Yeah, you heard Mr. Depp talking about sometimes being on the nod, right?
And again, I think I explained Seroquel very well this morning.
Good. I'm going to ask him a few more questions.
Oh, okay. Okay.
All right. You kept making references to street value. Why were you doing that?
Because that's why people with substance use disorder use quetiapine and Seroquel. That's why people who use quetiapine or Seroquel it sells on the street because it's so barbiturate-like in effect.
Right, but you said that Mr. Depp had a prescription.
There are many substance use disorder patients who have prescriptions for Adderall and quetiapine from their doctor, and that doesn't mean they're not getting high out of it. That doesn't take much. Doctors like to believe what patients have to say. They're not going to go in there being expert witness testimony. All I'm telling you is that in people who have substance use disorder, it is not uncommon. And the thought was initially that because quetiapine was not addicting, that it's safe to give in people with substance use disorders, when in fact, we absolutely know it has street value. Absolutely know that for a fact.
Right, but my point about this is you made a bunch of testimony about street value, but you knew at the time you made the testimony that Mr. Depp, in fact, had a prescription.
He also had a prescription for oxycodone and roxicodone. Does that count? Because that's also probably not a good thing. Just because you have a prescription doesn't mean that
Mr. Depp would agree with you it wasn't a good thing.
Just because you have a prescription
God
doesn't mean you
damn.
can abuse it.
No, I'm not suggesting you're abusing it. I'm just wondering why your testimony was in any way tied to street value when every single drug you referenced, Mr. Depp had legally.
Again, you can have prescription substance abuse, and we know that, correct? No, I shouldn't be asking that. We can have prescription substance use disorders, and that's not uncommon if you look at the opiate epidemic that we're living in right now. We can have that. That's not an uncommon.
Yeah, people like him cause the opioid
Unfortunate,
epidemic.
but uncommon. Not uncommon.
So, Seroquel, I think you described as a sleeping agent when used off label.
When I saw what?
Sleeping agent, Seroquel, when used off label.
When used off label, it's used. It can be used. Yes.
Right. So, Mr. Depp's use of Seroquel could account for some of the photos we saw in this trial, where he's asleep in a chair.
Again, what I would say to you is that if you have a substance use disorder, you are using it to be knocked out. Yes, I agree. But I'm not sure at the end of the day if she had vomitus over you either, because I've never seen Seroquel do that. So when he was passed out in the chair, he also had vomitus over him. I've never seen Seroquel do that ever.
Neurontin is another one of the drugs you testified about. That one's
It's going to come up later. The photo that he's referring to is a picture of Johnny Depp when he fell asleep and had ice cream like poured all over him. The guy gets pressed on it later and says he was told that it was vomit, right? And it's like, Depp's attorneys never actually ask him, who told you it was vomit? It's probably better to let it be open for the jury, because this guy is clearly he's paid to take her side, right? And look, I guess you could say that about all expert witnesses. They get called, but in this guy's case, I mean, like, he is paid to take her side, right? But it's pretty funny. It's pretty funny. Because he then tries to say something of the nature that, well, still, even if you took that, I mean, you shouldn't be falling asleep with ice cream poured all over you. And I'm like, bro, it's a big difference from that to he took this shit, vomited all over himself, fell asleep, and didn't feel or remember anything. It's a massive fucking difference. And oh god, let me just hit play.
also prescribed, right?
Yes, it is.
And what's the prescription for that?
What's it used for? And what's its indication, or what's its used
What's its indication?
I mean, its indication is for seizures. It may have one pain indication. Again, I'm not a neurologist, so I can't tell you exactly if it does. But it's chronically used off-label for pain. It's used off-label for anxiety.
Right. And what's its effect? That's another one that'll put you to sleep, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, sure, 100%.
Right. And you made reference to a picture. There's been testimony around that picture that Mr. Depp fell asleep with ice cream in his hand. That's not vomitous, right?
I was told it was vomitous.
Okay.
Wait, ice cream is vomitous?
You talked about the fact that Mr. Depp indicates that from time to time he uses an earpiece.
I read that, yes.
Okay. Did you read the testimony of Mr. Wyatt, who told you what was being pumped into that earpiece?
Yeah, I mean, if I remember right, I think it was lines, right?
No, it was music.
It was music, not his lines?
Yeah.
Okay.
So if
whoopsie.
If Mr. Depp was listening to music rather than being fed his lines, does that change your opinion as to his cognitive function?
If he was never fed his lines through the earpiece, which I know he was, but read he was, and that may have been that example. Mr. Wyatt may have said that it was music. I guess the question is, were you having the music during the actual talking of your lines? Is that what you're saying to me?
What an idiot.
Well, if you can do two things at once, that's a pretty high cognitive function, isn't it, sir?
It's a very good point, actually. Divided attention is something humans have a lot of trouble in. So, for instance, we have trouble driving and putting on using our cell phones and direct. So, divided attention, humans actually are not very good at. I'll put that out there.
But Mr.
In general, not just Mr. Depp, in general.
But Mr. Depp is pretty good at acting. You acknowledge that early on.
Absolutely. Well, better than me, so I know that.
Because you don't act. In fact, you don't know about acting.
You're right. I have no idea about acting.
And you don't know how prevalent the use of earpieces are in acting.
Again, I know nothing about acting.
This part's nuts.
Irrespective of the fact you know nothing about acting, you've testified that Mr. Depp's use of an earpiece is somehow a cognitive deficit.
So if I was giving a lecture and I was fed my lines, I would think there's a cognitive deficit. So and maybe I'm wrong. Like I said, maybe I could be wrong. Maybe
you could be wrong. I thought you were an expert.
Lines fed to them through earpieces all the time, and I don't know. That could be said. It sounded to me to be unusual if you're doing a movie and you don't know the lines. But like you said, I'm just judging it on what I do with lectures, and that would never happen.
If you gave lectures, you wouldn't use an earpiece, but you're not going to tell anybody how to act.
I'm sorry, what was the question?
I said if you gave lectures, you wouldn't use an earpiece, but you're not telling anybody how to act.
Right, I would not use an earpiece during lectures.
Right.
But I don't know what the standard for standard is Hollywood is for that. I have no idea.
Your testimony about the use of an earpiece, as maybe you were wrong. You're comfortable with the fact that you may have made a mistake there?
No, because I think in the basis of what I've read about it, I'm comfortable that I don't believe that actors are routinely given their entire script through earpieces. I find that hard to believe.
Yeah,
but
there's not one whit of evidence that this ever happened here.
I guess what I said. I just said I find it hard to believe. I didn't say it. I said I find it hard to believe. That's all I said.
Oh, yeah, but what you found hard to believe, sir, was that every line of the script was pumped through an earpiece. Where did you ever get the idea that occurred?
That's what that's what I read in the court review, the court evidence. That's where I got it from.
Right? And you know whether Marlon Brando used an earpiece?
Isn't he dead?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
So the answer is no. He does not use one now.
Oh, no, I used the past.
Fucking nuts.
I know nothing. I will concede to you. I know nothing about acting. I will concede to you 100%. If that is the standard and people are done that acting, then I apologize, and that was wrong on my part. If that's the standard, I'm wrong. I don't know.
Okay. Let's go with that. No further questions.
All right. How long is your briefing?
A bit. You may want to take.
All right. Let's go ahead and break for lunch then, ladies and
Oh my
gentlemen.
God,
Again,
we
you're
got a
not
lot
doing
to talk
outside
about in
research.
that.
Do not
Okay.
discuss your testimony with anybody. Okay.
We're going to talk about a few things there. This guy is from my world. He's from the
Yeah, no, that was that witness. It went so fucking off the rails. The stuff with Amber Heard was nuts, but this guy was just like, holy shit. Amber Heard, you expect it, right? These are supposed to be expert witnesses, and he gets defensive, he gets aggressive in condemning the other lawyer. Several times, like when the lawyer's questioning his qualifications, which again, they're gonna do that. You know, you're a witness for the other side, and they're gonna, you know, they're gonna check your qualifications. I'm sure if this guy's been called as an expert before, it's not the first time it's happened to him. So I don't know what's with the attitude.
Participate in this trial, didn't you?
I did not. I
You
was
knew-
asked by the attorney, and I
Okay, so real quick, this individual runs some like this resort hotel thing with trailers. Anyways, the attorney, again, this is about whether or not he's qualified to testify as a witness. She's pushing him as being like a partisan actor who's like a Depp supporter, who is out to talk to that umbrella guy for clout. Essentially, that's where she's going with this.
wanted to. They asked me, and I said,
Elaine is
"I'm not gonna
pissed.
tell the truth."
You knew this was on camera, that it was being broadcast to a lot of people, and you saw testimony, did you not, in this case? And you
Treading a thin line
seized
here,
the moment
Elaine.
and responded to the umbrella guy, the lead person for Mr. Depp's Twitters. Did you not?
Wait,
Objection.
what?
Twitter? The
Argument
lead
of-
man?
Overruled.
Facts not in evidence.
Yeah, so again, I think it was Latchkey you asked about it. They've been on this like tirade that Tug is like this gang leader, being riled up by Adam Waldman. That's leading like an army of bots and trolls to harass Amber Heard online. They are insane. They are stupid. I think this was about getting a headline out on Tug, honestly, more than anything else.
Mr. Umbrella Guy is the lead. The lead.
You
what?
know that he is
The lead what?
the most predominant pro-Depp Twitters out there.
I have no idea. I don't care or follow the Umbrella Guy.
In fact, you do follow
I follow the umbrella
Twitter
guy. How
called
cool
Johnny
am I?
Depp fan, don't you?
Absolutely not.
You don't? That's your
No.
testimony under oath?
It is my testimony under oath.
All right. And on April 21st,
Bad question, Elaine.
testified in this case about Hicksville, didn't he?
I wasn't here.
And in fact, you tweeted in response to the umbrella guy on April 21, 22, quote, "That never happened. I was with them all night. Amber was the one acting all jealous and crazy." Do you
Yes,
recall writing that?
I do recall writing that.
Michelle, can
Well,
you bring that up, please? We're going to call it Defendants 1903.
Is it a reply to Tug or is it a reply to a retweet?
I reply to tweets all the time. I don't know who they're from.
Show his Twitter follows. You say he's
And
following
I'm gonna
Tug.
go ahead and ask you to redact, leave in the umbrella guy and the date and the bringing in the Hicksville. Your Honor, I'm sorry.
But redact everything harmful to our case.
Let me
let's-
just tell
let's-
you what we're redacting in front of the jury.
4 days after you tweeted to Umbrella Man,
Where's
you-
all this on your-
Guy.
Now Umbrella Man.
Oh,
you
I love how she gets corrected by this guy.
tweeted to Umbrella Man.
Where's
you-
all this on your-
Guy.
Oh,
we have this up. I'm going to ask you to take a look. What is Defendants Exhibit 1903? Do you see that?
Where was all this on
Okay,
voir dire?
And that's from that umbrella guy on 4/21/22, correct?
Correct.
And it says bringing in the Hicksville incident accusations. Do you see that?
I do.
And there's clearly Mr. Depp testifying there, likely a video, right?
Okay.
And you respond, that never happened. I was with them all night. Amber was the one acting all jealous and crazy. Do you see that?
I do.
Your Honor, I'm going to move the admission of defendants 1903.
Any objection?
Did Elaine just 4D
Your
chess
Honor,
herself into
we
admitting
believe
that
the first
testimony?
part of the that umbrella guy's tweet
Yeah.
should
Doctrine of
be
completeness.
unredacted for context.
Oh,
She just owned herself.
It's rank hearsay.
No.
It's hearsay. It's rank hearsay.
You open the door.
If it's
I think it stays redacted because what was posted is really devastating to her. But still, this play does not work out well for them at all, and you'll see why.
hearsay,
Yep.
how are you introducing it, you dummy?
You just played yourself. Oh.
First of all, she just walked herself into this guy saying it wasn't Johnny, it was Amber Heard the entire time.
She had him confirm his own hearsay.
It's a trap.
Did he make that admission on testimony on direct that it was Amber Heard being like, was that while I was gone? Did I miss that?
That she was being the jealous aggressor.
Yeah,
or
he
whatever.
said that when Camille was on direct. Yep.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear that. I think I was upstairs.
Oh, she's marching. She's upset.
Yeah.
With that redaction, any objection?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Okay, 1903 will be in evidence with as redacted.
Oh.
Well, it
Well,
might
as
be a different
redacted.
redaction. Yeah.
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 So they included the first part of Tug's tweet, apparently. Quick reply to the tweet, get your name in.
Now, so you reached out to the umbrella guy in this
Reached out
text,
to.
this Twitter, right?
No.
I wouldn't call it reaching out.
And in fact, the umbrella guy is in Mr. Adam Waldman. Do you know who Adam Waldman is?
I have no idea.
Well, he's testified earlier that he talks to the umbrella guy.
Did he what? He talks to the umbrella guy?
Yeah. Were you aware of that?
I honestly, this sounds like schizophrenia.
I mean, I don't like, holy shit. Like, I don't think this guy has any clue who Tug is. I think he, because the trial has been trending all over Twitter, right? It's all over Twitter, and it's been all over Twitter for weeks, right? I think he just saw a conversation about the trial, something that he knew about, and he just replied to it. So now he's in court, and you have this attorney who's like accusing him of being in league with the umbrella man or the umbrella guy. It's just, and he's like, and Adam Waldman is talking to the umbrella guy, and he's like, yes. Like, can you imagine going to like any normal sane person and telling them that you're best friends, or you're good friends with the umbrella guy? Like, who's the umbrella guy? Oh, he's a guy that he talks to people on the internet. What the fuck? I mean, it'd be nuts. Like out of context entirely, which is what it sounds like the lawyer is giving to him. It sounds fucking nuts. It was incredible though. This guy did get to give testimony, and essentially Amber Heard's team ran up all of their time. They have, I think, 4 hours less now for rebuttal, whereas Depp's team had something like 15 hours, which again, less after today. But tomorrow they're calling Kate Moss to the stand. Kate Moss, well, her name was brought up by Amber Heard, which was a big mistake because Kate Moss is still on very good terms with Johnny Depp. So she's expected to come on, testify that Johnny Depp has never harmed her, and likely that she has no clue what Amber Heard is fucking talking about. At least that's what the speculation is. We're going to see what happens tomorrow, though. I got a couple more in here, I believe. Hold on one second. Yeah, this part's great.
Ms. Heard received a pay increase for Aquaman 2?
No.
Was her role ever reduced for any reason?
No, I mean, again, from the early stages of the development of the
All
script, the movie was built around the character of Arthur and the character of Orm, Arthur being Jason Momoa and Orm being Patrick Wilson. So they were always the two co-leads of the movie.
Was her compensation for Aquaman 2 affected in any way by anything said by Johnny Depp?
No.
Was there any delay in Warner Brothers exercising the option to cast Miss Heard in Aquaman 2?
Yes, there was. There were conversations about potentially recasting.
Who was the producer?
Peter Safran.
What, if any, creative concerns did Warner Brothers have about casting Amber Heard as Mira in Aquaman 2?
Good question.
It was the concerns that were brought up at the wrap of the first movie, production of the first movie, which is the issue of chemistry. Did the two have chemistry? I think editorially they were able to make that relationship work in the first movie, but there was a concern that it took a lot of effort to get there. And would we be better off recasting, finding someone who had better, more natural chemistry with Jason Momoa and move forward that way?
This is the guy that
Warner Brothers
that runs it.
What specifically about the chemistry between Amber Heard and Jason Momoa?
Just the fact that they didn't really have a lot of chemistry together. The reality is it's not uncommon on movies for two leads to not have chemistry, and that it's sort of movie magic and editorial, the ability to sort of put performances together, and with the magic of a great score and how you put the pieces together, you can fabricate sort of that chemistry.
That's very true.
And so I think at the end of the day, I think if you watch the movie, they look like they had great chemistry. But I just know that through the course of the post-production that it took a lot of effort to get there.
Well, there you go. There you go. That was the president of, I believe, DC Films, if I'm not mistaken. But he flat out stated, the reason why they're not moving forward with Amber Heard is because she doesn't have good chemistry with Jason Momoa. Now, Jason Momoa, obviously, he's the star of Aquaman. He's not getting replaced. Amber Heard has had a very minor role in the movies, and she doesn't have good chemistry with the guy who is your lead, who everybody likes, who attracted a massive female fan base. And again, a lot of people are pissed off with Amber Heard are female fans. So I'm just saying, like, a lot of this shit the DC president basically came out there and said is Amber Heard has bad chemistry with Jason Momoa, which I think is true. But I think, again, a lot of the other reasons why they want her gone is this has turned into such a public spectacle, and they look fucking terrible for it. Danny Claw, you said the other person heard it too. We're told there was a ghost here by others that have shifts here, and I didn't believe them. It's about 30 minutes before the next shift to show up. Yeah. When we heard a light knocking, about 10 rapid taps done lightly as though trying to not be too loud, we went to the door, we unlocked it and opened it to nothing. There is no object that can interact with the door to make that noise. I walked to the driveway, I looked both ways, nothing. Several seconds later, the chick for the next shift appeared, but she was oblivious and looking at her phone. She came in saying she didn't knock, she thinks we're crazy. Well, if the place is supposedly haunted, I don't know why they're going to say you're crazy. That's stupid. Well, that's a good story. Although Tug has now become a name in this major court case. Yeah, I know, it's incredible. It's fucking crazy. Because the thing is, they're using this trial to go after people. And I think what you're seeing here when it comes specifically to comes specifically to the shit with that umbrella guy and everything. Amber Heard, I believe Amber Heard specifically hates Tug because Tug has been breaking a lot of the stories that Adam Waldman has leaked to him. And these are some big stories, including that she was fired by Warner Brothers. Tug broke that months ago. And Amber Heard's sort of girlfriend, sort of attack dog, sort of bad girl, she like hardcore tried to get Tug's channel shut down, leading this fan base of Heard fans to mass flag his channel, and they do it constantly. So I think Amber Heard well knows who Tug is, and I think the reason why they brought Tug up was they're trying to imply that Tug is a malicious actor in these things. Again, not so much for the trial, but so they can go out later and try to get Tug's account shut down. If they win. If they win, I am sure that they would turn around and try to get Tug's account shut down, stating that Tug is the reason why there's so much harassment. Tug through Adam Waldman. Adam Waldman, who has also been removed from the platform. I think that's what the angle here is anyways. You can tell me if you think I'm wrong. All right. That's pretty much it for those. Let me pull up the thing that Devin sent me, though, before we wrap up for the night, because this looked pretty interesting. No, I didn't need that one. Need that one. There we go. So this is about the staircase story. This is the story where Amber Heard hit Johnny Depp, and she says that she did it because Johnny Depp was going to attack her sister. This thing is an hour and a half long, so there's no way I can get through it tonight, but I at least want to share it with the chat. For those of you interested in the story, a lot of people have stated that this is that this story that they have is fake. And look, I don't think that's a shocker for anybody. I don't think it's a shocker for any. I don't think it's not a shocker for anybody to state that that Amber Heard is lying about elements of her case here. But this was, I guess, a more thorough breakdown of it, and I think it's interesting to check it out, because if you like really dig into it, a lot of things Amber Heard said during the trial, or a lot of things that her witnesses have said during the trial, if you give it a few hours, people online have already picked it apart. Amber Heard's stories of abuse, people went to the dates in question, the day before, that date, the day after, and they looked at photos of her, and they could tell, look, she did a photo shoot here. Look, she was on this talk show here. Look at her on the talk show. I mean, you have internet sleuths all over the place because Amber Heard is that fucking hated at this point. But check this one out. This actually looks really interesting. Let me take this off the screen for a second. Yeah, here we go. So this is from Swoop, 364 subscribers. Proof Amber Heard and sister lied about staircase story versus Johnny Depp. New evidence everyone missed. I put it in the chat for you guys. Anyways, I'm going to be heading out for the night. We normally don't stream on Tuesdays, but because I missed Monday, I wanted to give you guys the 3 streams for this week. So today, tomorrow, and then we'll be back on Friday again. So tune in tomorrow night at 10 o'clock, same time. We'll be back for another stream. I don't know what we'll be covering tomorrow because I've been avoiding a lot of the commentary drama that's been going on. Because this trial is just so much more enticing, even though YouTube heavily suppresses anyone talking about it. Because like, holy shit.